Supercommuter, mom travels to work by plane every day. Because it's cheaper than renting there. NY Post. She's taking the title to new heights. Below are your comments. The math is not mathing. If the rent in Kuala Lumpur is $300 and the mortgage payment where she currently lives is $223, how is she not paying more than $73 on 40-plus flights a month? 5 days a week x 2 flights a day x 20-plus days a month equals 40-plus flights a month. I doubt that a 40-minute flight costs less than $2 per flight. Seeing that she works for the airline, she's definitely getting the flights for free. I work from home and my commute is approximately 150 feet with occasional traffic in the hallway. Not so much now that my wife and I are empty nesters. I used to commute 2.5 hours each way to LA. I live in a suburb 35 miles away. Won't do that again. 20 round-trip flights a month in Malaysia costs more than $300. I flew domestic in Malaysia and paid over $200 for one flight. Paying $300 for a month for an apartment would be way cheaper. This is nothing new or unusual. I commute by plane 3 times a week from Florida to Pennsylvania. Others in my company travel even further and more frequently. Literally dozens of people I know have arrangement where the company simply permanently rents long-stay suites and employees alternate travel weekly, and I did that for 2 years. 15-minute flight to and from work, 5 days per week. Was great. Was before TSA and bag searches. Just walked onto the plane and sat down. We all deplaned in order. Better than the 2-hour commute by car from Connecticut to NYC. None of the math presented makes sense. 4 hours in a plane every day, just to save $100 a month? What do the flights cost? It's not the cost that stuck out to me. It's the 2-hour 45-minute commute from her door to her office that is insane. I give her a lot of credit for making it work though. Something doesn't add up. Regardless of mathy hate flying more and more as I age. The math is not mathing, she's getting some kind of discount. My father was a commercial pilot, United, and flew a trip between San Francisco and Oakland. It ran 2x day. Morning and evening. Was mostly full all the time. So not the first airline commute. Traveling bi-weekly isn't a commute. That's a business trip. Years ago I worked a rotational assignment where I traveled from Houston, Texas to Sakhalin Island, Russia. I never called it a commute. I wonder about the effect of radiation as a daily flyer? It's generally dismissed as a reasonable level of exposure, but I don't think the expectation for an Yon, even in the jet setter class, is to fly 10x a week. Unless the airfare is free, the math ain't mathing. The cost of an everyday flight cannot be less than rent. Besides, the toll of constantly being above 30,000 FT every day would wear you out and you'll end up in hospice before you're 35. That's a ridiculous way to live, even worse than living on a cruise ship. Math ain't adding up. Time is money. You have to take into account of the money saved. Whole household. Time of commute. Whole household. In most cases, in the US, the money saved with a longer commute is around $12 per hour at most. Goes down fast if there are a lot of adults that need to commute. People don't. Her air commute costs less than $70 a month round trip. I might need to explore retirement in Malaysia. But what about her carbon footprint? What would AOC say? So on break the news to her that there are things called Zoom and Microsoft Teams that eliminate the commute. Something's wrong with the arithmetic. Shows the absolute price gouging going on in the housing and rental market after a few entities bogue HT up most of the competition. This isn't limited to NY or LA, even if it is more extreme there and other places. When the commuter rail system went down for 2 weeks, I actually took Delta Airlines every day for 2 weeks to get to and from high school. The commuter rail paid for that for all customers who had an annual pass. When I was going to college, we had students who did this, but not every day. They would fly into South Hearn, California from Sacramento or Phoenix on class days. Others who were from farther away like Oklahoma, Idaho, or Pennsylvania had to live in SoCal to go to class. I've also heard. Hard to believe you can get a round-trip ticket to anywhere for $15 after fees. I do something similar except not every day and my flight is only 20 minutes. But it's $178 round trip on a tiny plane. Her flight every day has to be at least that much by the looks of the large aircraft she's flying on. So it's not for the financial savings, that's for sure. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you like it, please thumbs up.